Welcome to another Storytime Quickies of the Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. Today is Storytime number 65, Thousandfurs. Alright, you guys, get ready. Grab your blankies, grab your snackies, because it's time. Time for a quickie. A Storytime quickie. Here we go. Tale, Tale number 65, Thousandfurs. There was once upon a time a king who had a wife with golden hair, and she was so beautiful that her equal was not found on earth. It came to pass that she lay ill, and as she felt that she must soon die, she called the king and said, "If you wish to marry again after my death, she must be as beautiful as I am, and have such golden hair as I have. This you must promise me." And after the king had promised her this, she closed her eyes and died. For a long time the king could not be comforted, and had no thought of taking another wife. At length his counselors said, "There is no helping it. The king must marry again, that we may have a queen." And now the messengers were sent about far and wide to seek a bride who equaled the late queen in beauty. In the whole world, however, none was to be found, and even if one had been found, still there would have been no one who had such golden hair. So the messengers came home as they went. Now the king had a daughter who was just as beautiful as her dead mother, and had the same golden hair. When she was grown up, the king looked at her one day and saw that in every respect she was like his late wife, and suddenly felt a violent love for her. Then he said to his counselors, "I will marry my daughter, for she is the counterpart of my late wife. Otherwise, I can find no bride who resembles her." When the counselors heard that, they were shocked and said, "God has forbidden a father to marry his daughter. No good can come from such a crime, and the kingdom will be involved in the ruin." The daughter was still more shocked when she became aware of her father's resolution, but hoped to change his mind. Then she said to him, "Before I fulfill your wish, I must have 3 dresses, one as golden as the sun, one as silvery as the moon, and one as bright as the stars. Besides this, I wish for a mantle of 1,000 different kinds of fur and hair joined together, and one of every kind of animal in your kingdom must give a piece of his skin for it." But she thought, "To get that will be quite impossible, and thus I shall divert my father from his wicked intentions." The king, however, did not give up, and the cleverest maidens in his kingdom had to weave the 3 dresses, one as golden as the sun, one as silvery as the moon, and one as bright as the stars. And his hunters had to catch one of every kind of animal in the whole of his kingdom, and take from it a piece of its skin. Hey, thanks for chatting, Omni. You should kick your feet while reading. Hey, I do be kicking my feet while reading. And out of these was made a mantle of 1,000 different kinds of fur. At length, when all was ready, the king had the mantle brought, spread it out before her, and said, "The wedding shall be tomorrow." When the king's daughter saw that there was no longer any hope of turning her father's heart, she resolved to run away from him. In the night, while everyone was asleep, she got up and took 3 different things from her treasures: a golden ring, a golden spinning wheel, and a golden reel. The three dresses of the sun, moon, and stars she put into a nutshell, put on her mantle of all kinds of fur, and blackened her face and hands with soot. Then she condemned herself to God, and went away and walked the whole night until she reached a great forest. And as she was tired, and she got into a hollow tree and fell asleep. Also, One Piece overrated except for Nico, Robin, and Bo. Okay, dude. Hey, One Piece is goaded. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, but Nico, Robin, and Bo are pretty goaded too. I will agree with that. The sun rose, and she slept on, and she was still sleeping when it was full day. Then it so happened that the king to whom this forest belonged was hunting in it. When his dogs came to the tree, they sniffed and ran barking around about it. The king said to the hunters, "Just see what kind of wild beast was hidden in has hidden itself in there." The hunters obeyed his orders, and when they came back, they said, "A wondrous beast is lying in the hollow tree. We have never before seen one like it. Its skin is fur of 1,000 different kinds, but it is lying asleep." Said the king, "See if you can catch it alive, and then fasten it to the carriage, and we will take it with us." When the hunters laid hold of the maiden, she awoke full of terror, and cried to them, "I am a poor child, deserted by father and mother. Have pity on me, and take me with you." Then said they, "Thousandfurs, you will be useful in the kitchen. Come with us, and you can sweep up the ashes." So they put her in the carriage. They took her home to the royal palace. There they pointed out to her a closet under the stairs where no daylight entered, and said, "Hairy animal, there you can live and sleep." Then she was sent into the kitchen, and there she carried wood and water, swept the hearth, plucked the fowls, picked the vegetables, raked the ashes, and then did all the dirty work. Thousandfurs lived there for a long time in a great wretchedness. Alas, fair princess, what is to become of you now? It happened, however, that one day a feast was held in the palace, and she said to the cook, "May I go upstairs for a while and look on?" "I will place myself outside the door." The cook answered, "Yes, go, but you must be back here in half an hour to sweep the hearth." How bad of a pirate are you to take that long and still not find the One Piece? Okay, dude. Ew. Then she took her oil lamp, went into her den, took off her fur dress, and washed the soot off her face and hands, so that her full beauty once more came to light. And she opened the nut, and took out her dress, which shone like the sun. And when she had done that, she went up to the festival, and everyone made way for her, for no one knew her, and thought no otherwise that she was a king's daughter. The king came to meet her, gave his hand to her, and danced with her, and thought in his heart, "My eyes have never yet seen anyone so beautiful." When the dance was over, she curtsied, and when the king looked round again, she had vanished, and no one knew where. The guards who stood outside the palace were called and questioned, but no one had seen her. She had, however, run into her little den, had quickly taken off her dress, made her face and hands black again, put on the fur mantle, and again was Thousandfurs. And now, when she went into the kitchen and was about to get to her work and sweep up the ashes, the cook said, "Leave it alone till morning, and make me the soup for the king. I, too, will go upstairs a while and take a look, but let no hairs fall in, or in future you shall have nothing to eat." Hey man, just honest also, bro. I'm still waiting for the feet to get kicked up. Hey, I got no feet cam. What can I say, man? Not yet, at least. So the cook went away. Thousandfurs made the soup for the king, and made the bread soup the best she could. And when it was ready, she fetched her golden ring to meet the little dance. Yo! Thank you for the follow! Oh my god, that was loud. Holy shit. I wonder if that actually is going to pop up on the recording. When the dancing was over, the king had his soup brought and ate it, and he liked it so much that it seemed to him he had never tasted better. But when he came to the bottom of the bowl, he saw a golden ring, and could not conceive how it could have got there. Then he ordered the cook to appear before him. The cook was terrified when he heard the order, and said to Thousandfurs, "You have certainly let a hair fall into the soup, and if you have, you shall be beaten for it." When he came before the king, the latter asked who had made the soup. The cook replied, "I made it." But the king said, "That is not true, for it was much better than usual and cooked differently." He answered, "I must acknowledge that I did not make it. It was made by the rough animal." The king said, "Go and bid it come here." When Thousandfurs came, the king said, "Who are you?" "I am a poor girl who no longer has any father or mother." He asked further, "Of what use are you in my palace?" She answered, "I am good for nothing but to have boots thrown at my head." Listen here, you can have Cringe, Usopp, and Rogan Gambit. Yes, yes. Actually, one of my favorite gifs. I've had that gif since I started streaming too. That gif has followed me since I think 2015 when I first launched up OBS and even like Streamlabs and stuff like that. So I've been using that for a very, very long time. Did you play the game? Yeah, yeah. I actually have a couple of VODs that you could check out down below probably of me playing Marvel vs. Capcom. I actually have the game. I play it pretty regularly. I'll probably launch it up soon. If not tomorrow, probably when I get back uh from TwitchCon on Sunday or Saturday night. Who knows? Do they include feet too? Hell yeah, brother. He continued, "Where did you get the ring which was in the soup?" She answered, "I know nothing about the ring." So the king could learn nothing, and had to send her away. After a while, there was another festival, and then, as before, Thousandfurs begged the cook for leave to go and look on. He answered, "Yes, but come back again in half an hour, and make the king the bread soup, which he so much likes." Then she ran into her den, washed herself quickly, and took out of the nut the dress which was silvery as the moon, put it on. Then she went up and was like a princess. The king stepped forward to meet her, and rejoiced to see her once more. And as the dance was just beginning, they danced it together. But when it ended, she again disappeared so quickly that the king could not observe where she went. She, however, sprang into her den, and once more made herself a hairy animal, went into the kitchen to prepare the bread soup. When the cook had gone upstairs, she fetched the little golden spinning wheel, and put it in the bowl so that the soup covered it. When it was taken to the king, who ate it, and liked it so much as before, and had the cook brought, who this time likewise was forced to confess that Thousandfurs had prepared the soup. Thousandfurs again came to the king, but she answered that she was good for nothing, else but to have boots thrown at her head, and that she knew nothing at all about the little golden spinning wheel. When for the third time the king held a festival, all happened just as it had done before. The cook said, "Surely, rough skin, you are a witch, and always put something in the soup which makes it so good that the king likes it better than that which I cook." But as she begged so hard, he let her go up at the appointed time, and now she put on the dress which shone like the stars, and thus entered the hall. Again the king danced with the beautiful maiden, and thought that she had never yet been so beautiful. And when she was dancing, he contrived, without her noticing it, to slip a golden ring on her finger. And he had given orders that the dance should last a very long time. When it ended, he wanted to hold her fast by her hands, but she tore herself loose and sprang away so quickly through the crowd that she vanished from his sight. She ran as fast as she could into her den beneath the stairs, but as she had been too long, she had stayed more than half an hour, she could not take off her pretty dress, but only threw over it her fur mantle. And in her haste she did not make herself quite black, but one finger remained white. Then Thousandfurs ran into the kitchen and cooked the bread soup for the king, and as the cook was away, put her golden reel into it. Then the king found the reel at the bottom of it. He had Thousandfurs summoned, and then he spied the white finger, and saw the ring which he had put on it during the dance. Then he grasped her by the hand and held her fast, and when she wanted to release herself and run away, her mantle of fur opened a little, and the star dress shone forth. The king clutched the mantle and tore it off. Then her golden hair shone forth, and she stood there in full splendor, and could no longer hide herself. And when she had washed the soot and ashes from her face, she was more beautiful than anyone who had ever been seen on earth. The king said, "You are my dear bride, and we will never again part from each other." Thereupon, the marriage was solemnized, and they lived happily until their death. And that concludes today's story time of Thousand Furs. That was a pretty good one. I liked it. It actually reminds me a lot of another tale by the name of Donkey Skin. If you guys have never heard of that, it's an alternative to Cinderella and follows very similarly to this one, where she has a donkey skin, a witch gives her a donkey skin that essentially transforms her. She runs away from her father, who is trying to wed her, essentially, and it's a very, very, very similar story. Very, very cool though. I like that story a lot. It has a good ending to it. Uh, for next story time, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a story time for tomorrow, late night. But if I do, it'll be Tale 66, The Hare's Bride. So if you guys are around, I usually do these story times around 11:30 ish PST PM at night. So you guys could usually check me on around that time. I go live around then. If not that, try and follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer. Um, I usually post up when I'm going live on there. I have a schedule down below on my Twitch too. Make sure you hit that follow. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe too, right down below. There's going to be some boxes that are going to pop up right around here for the playlist on YouTube for this VOD. It links to the playlist of the Storytime Quickies, which you guys could go check out. My YouTube is Stigma XOXO. There's over 60 stories that we've read up to this point. Go check those out. Make sure you hit the like, comment on them. It helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much to everybody for all the support also. And until next time, I will see you on the next one. Bye.